All right, guys. Comically, I forgot to actually press make sure the sound was on when I was going through the books presentation. So I just got to go ahead and do it again for you guys. I'm gonna go through some of the books that I find that are really good. I'll try to let you know which ones are just absolutely critical for me in business and whatever position you're in, whether you're front desk, assistants, or just trying to live a happy life. Um, so, without further ado, let me go through some of them and some of the authors. Deepak Chopra is a great writer. I certainly don't get into every single thing that he says, um, but he's very good at trying to get down to the heart of things and what we should think is important in our lives. Um, Meditation techniques, things like that. How we should how we should see the world, and if we see the world as essentially a one unit that we're just one part of, we'll have less negativity in our minds. Um, Brian Tracy. This is a book by Brian Tracy, Advanced Selling Strategies. Brian Tracy writes books about everything related to success. He'll write books where he explains how to organize a day, how to sell, how to do your work, doing the most difficult work first, and then um, working through things that way. Let's skip over to Authentic Happiness. Martin E.P. Seligman, PhD, is a professor. Um, he's an endowed chair of some kind at University of Pennsylvania. He's the father of um, this subject called positive psychology, and he wrote this book, Authentic Happiness. Just some of the tips in how to be happy and what they've learned and some of the research they've done. Um, he actually has a newer book, which I have here in the collection, which I'll go through as well. And he kind of updates the new information. So, in anything in this world, the information gets updated, and some things are wrong, and some things we think are right, and there's new emphasis points. So, uh, really interesting book there. Anthony Robbins is just great. If you need to get fired up about something, if you just need to get re-engaged in your life, if you feel like you're in a rut, Anthony Robbins is great to listen to, and he's got all kinds of programs for 30 days you can do. This particular book, Awaken the Giant Within, is is I don't even think it's maybe 2 hours long. Um, so it's a really short one that you can really get into. John Maxwell, he's another one of those writers like Brian Tracy, where they just, if they've written 30 books about success, and this one's on being a person of influence. I've read some books by, I haven't started Harvey Mackay. I just downloaded a few of those. He's a really good guy. Same kind of thing as Brian Tracy and John Maxwell. Um, but apparently this is really classic stuff, so I'm going to get started on that pretty quick. It'll actually probably be the book that I queue up next when I get in the car. David Brooks is good with um, sociology things, just learning about how we function as people. Um, More Deepak Chopra. Change or Die, really interesting book. Um, it's kind of talks about how people react when they really are going to die if they don't change, and how change works in the mind. Um, Checklist Manifesto. Checklist Manifesto is one of the key books to how we are going to run our practice. Atul Gawande basically drastically reduced the number of infections from operator error, essentially. and things that go wrong in surgeries by using checklists and giving the control of the checklist over to the nurse, and making sure that things get done. Delivering happiness, a great example about how to build a company that is that has people that love working there, that's fun, and they feel like they're engaged in what is happening in the office, in their company. They got a great CEO who wrote most of the book. There's some stuff from other people in the book that work in the company, Tony Hsieh actually really let the company figure out how they were going to write the book. Zappos is the company that he ran. Still runs it, but they've been purchased by Amazon now. So anything you buy shoe wise is most likely from Zappos when you go to Amazon. Drive. This is about what motivates us, the science behind that. Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. Just is something we certainly look for in people when we interview them. Are they going to be able to get along in groups? Know how to relate to someone so that they are not upset. How to relate to someone that is it's and inspire them. And some of those things are innate, and it's different from IQ, which is so highly favored. EntreLeadership is Dave Ramsey, sort of a conservative way to run things. I don't personally run what I do based on Dave Ramsey. He's known for credit card stuff and getting out of debt, um, but he's certainly someone to listen to. Last year, that being 2011, no 2012 or end of 2011 into 2012, I read his books along with Millionaire Next Door and Millionaire Mind, and it's all the same thing that you got to live below your means, don't get into debt, own something, um, uh, and be very conservative about your savings. Um, Wayne Dyer, Excuses Be Gone. That's self-explanatory, and it's huge thing for us. We've got to get rid of any notion of we didn't accomplish this because of this. No, the only thing we have to say about tasks that we need to get done is it's done. Executive Toughness, interesting book. Doesn't stand out in my mind. More Maxwell. Fierce Conversations. Great, great book. It's basically about having the conversation that everyone knows we need to have, having the courage to have it. Okay, whether it's in your marriage, your relationship with your boss, whether it's the entire group, all those things. Remember, I said that Martin Seligman had a second book that updated everything called Flourish. That's it. Four agreements, absolutely critical. If you follow the four agreements in your life, you're going to be on great footing. Um, John Wooden, one of the greatest leaders in the history of the United States, won 11 titles and I think 8 in a row for UCLA basketball in the 60s and into the 70s, I believe. Um, uh, More Anthony Robbins, go give or sell more, important point to have. We want to give more to our patients and expect to get more. Okay? But we're giving it out of a genuine love for our patients, and that's what we want to do. We want to incentivize ourselves to do more for our patients and love our patients deeper. More Brian Tracy, goals. Got to set goals in this life. Um, Good to Great and Great by Choice. I've read both of these books 5 times. Okay, huge ideas in these books. That Good to Great and Great by Choice are read by every business school person in the United States, essentially. Okay, it's a baseline book. It's a study of companies that had extreme levels of success, and it is a qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis of what they did and how that can make us more effective in our business. Happier, I've done a lot of this. Is goes back to Martin Seligman. These are a lot of the things that have gone to that. Happier, the happiness advantage in business. We want our staff to be happy. We want to know those things that make them happy. Autonomy, trust, all those things make people happy. John Assaraf is a good motivational author to read. The How of Happiness, more Brian Tracy. Jim Rohn, another guy like Brian Tracy. I think Jim Rohn passed recently, but a great, great motivational speaker. Inner Game of Tennis. Very, very interesting book. It's just about how we have to let our brains get out of the way and do things. And this is about tennis, but it could be for anything. Okay? Incognito, How Our Brains Work. The Knack. I've mentioned this to every manager that works for us to read that book. It's about how to run a small business. Okay, Phil Jackson books. Napoleon Hill is a huge factor in what I've read. His most famous book is Think and Grow Rich. Okay, Think and Grow Rich is a really, really, really important book uh, in U.S. history. Okay, I've read that book about 10 times. Okay, Made to Stick, how you make things change. Uh, Mindset, huge, absolutely huge in how we view people. Mindset, people are going to think either that their station in life is fixed, um,
their deficiencies,
or that
instead,
that it's flexible, that you can do, you can learn new things, you can expand your capacity to do things, you can get smarter. So a person with a fixed mindset, whether they're smart or not, will think nothing changes there. A person with the opposite mindset thinks that they can get smarter, be more effective, all of those things. Okay. More happiness books. I guess that's something of a hobby for me, reading about happiness. Um, Outliers. Outliers is talking about what people did to become extreme success stories. And there's always reasons. Like Bill Gates was born at a certain time and he got 10,000 hours of practice working at computer programming. He was destined to be one of those people that made it work, okay, that became great. More Wayne Dyer, Power of Intention, living your life according to your own plan and how you choose to make it. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Power of Now talks about um, that there is nothing else really in this world except now. And if you're missing that, you're missing out on life. Promise of Sleep, huge book. Everyone should read Promise of Sleep, and it's great for health. More happiness books. That's Pursuit of Perfect. Um, that's actually about happiness. Um, More Deepak Chopra. Uh, The Secret. That's like Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill. Zig Ziglar. More stuff like Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy, motivational speaking. Secrets of Great Rainmakers. This is a great, great book. It's really short, but it just gets you on point as far as what you're doing to make the sale in your business. More Deepak Chopra, more David Brooks, uh, a biography on Steve Jobs. I don't read many biographies, but that's not really on purpose. There's a lot you can learn about people's ascent to greatness. More Daniel Pink, To Sell is Human. This is when I talk about it not being extreme extroverts that sell the most, or introverts that sell the most. It's people who are ambiverts, who know how to